Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Sketchy Ideas Show. We live point, counterpoint, visual process where we illustrate the basic concepts about business, personal development, and all of that good stuff. In order to make sure you write the prize that you might do on that. I'm Greg.
And I'm Michael Rampola.
And we are your hosts. Today, we're celebrating our 50th episode by uncovering the message that's why we talk about why we did over the last 49 episodes. Did you write this?
Right, what?
This whole script.
This whole script? I take zero credit for the script. Did I do something wrong? I didn't do it. Did I do something wrong?
I'm calling lies.
Lies?
Before we get to that, let's say thank you to the organizations that
That's probably a good idea. I'll give you a moment to collect yourself. Sketchy Ideas is powered by Spirity. As a business owner, you are responsible for the growth and the scale and the success of your organization. Do you have the support that you need to hold yourself accountable? You're busy juggling all of the balls and keeping everybody else in line, but who's helping you in the way that you need help? Spirit is here to be the support that you need to create the alignment, the accountability, and the consistency that every organization that is growing and scaling needs. So reach out to us at spirity.com for support. And we're looking forward to helping you on your growth journey. And back over to Brad.
And if you need help with anything specifically dealing with marketing, sales, any of that stuff, my friends over at Green City Marketing really work hard to alleviate the stress around that. As a business owner, if you have a coach, if you have a lot to do, they alleviate the stress of getting something that you can do what you're best at. So get a hold of my friend Aaron over there at greencitymarketing.com, and he'll sure to help you out. But back to this script.
Explain the script. What's wrong with the script?
49 episodes.
49 episodes. This is 50, right?
Talk about what we did over the last 49 episodes.
I don't understand.
We're already long-winded.
Okay, that's fine. But I would listen. We've been covering a lot of ground in our 49, now 50 episodes, and I just felt like we should do something special because, listen, it looks like we're making this up as we go, and to a point we are. Like, let's own that part, but not all of it, because we do plan ahead a little bit, right? Right? Sure. Sometimes, I don't know. So listen, I think we should do something to show. This is what I think. I think we should take the time to show everybody. What?
Now he's throwing things.
Forget it. That there has been not necessarily a plan, but a method. All right. So where do we start? I remember we started with SMART goals. way back when. We started with SMART goals. It was the very first thing we talked about. Do we have any goals for the show?
Yeah, we had a number of goals.
Prove it.
Let's make a live video podcast work. That was basically it. You're absolutely right. We should be able to do that. Oh, that's what we thought.
That was the idea at the time, right? Okay, so what else have we been up to since then? So let's see. Number two, we did agile doing. That was yours.
Yeah.
Because number three was the debate of goals versus doing.
Hedgehog concept.
Hedgehog and I don't know. You had your hedgehog. I don't know if I had anything. I should have. I think you had the upper hand on that one.
Talk one up, right?
There we go. Then we did avatars times 2.
Feel like
Avatars 1, avatars 2. Why? Because avatars are big and important. Why are avatars so important?
Because it tells us who we're talking to and how to talk to them. Because it leads into this feedback as a
Very nice. So how do we get back into a deep dive on it? We got back into avatars deep dive after that.
Because we were talking about how to use feedback to offers and your messaging and serving those customers.
Almost like we planned it. Interesting.
Almost like we
planned it.
VUCA 2.0.
Yeah, make this thing bigger. We can read it.
VUCA 1.
VUCA 1, VUCA 2. VUCA 1.
One was bad and one was good.
I remember. That's right. Because depending on how you handle VUCA, your mindset going into VUCA, that was VUCA 2.0, was VUCA can be good for you. All right. So then we got sales process. And of course, sales process needs a couple rounds. So we did that. Sales process, then it was sales process. I think that was when we got into know your numbers, wasn't it?
I got the second. We're good.
All right. Sales process 1 and 2. Let's see. Yep. Then it was know your numbers.
It's always important for sales. Which leads us into one of our favorite episodes of navigating the 4 C's.
Classic. I still use that one. I mean, use it and send it out to clients and prospects because there was a lot. There's a lot in that one.
And then rounding the bases. So
fantastic.
About navigating the 4 C's and how conflict becomes important for this whole thing. And so we needed some way to tactfully communicate. This is thanks to my friend, mentor, Rick Nelson, who taught me that one.
There you go. All right.
Did you put that one down?
Debating differences is up next. What was that about? Rounding the bases.
Right? So the reason we're doing this, Brent, is so you understand that there was some sort of method to our madness. So
Mostly
rounding the
madness.
bases, debating differences, performance analysis. So the reason we tie that into, and we reflected on some of these transitions, is because as you're going through this, as you navigate 4 C's and you figure out how to do all this stuff, now you're trying to figure out how to judge and help other people, not judge, but help other people constructively improve what they're already doing for you if they're working with you or for yourself. And then we went into like COVID.
Yep.
Keeping in mind, friends, we started this in the middle of COVID. This is our first live show together.
It's true. That was the whole. That's why this thing happened. All right. Transforming, and then we had our first guest on the show. Serena Talbot came on and talked about transforming your brain, and we actually did a live branding session to help her build a metaphor around how she talks about what she does. And I remember we had the safe cracking and the bank caper, all of which was trying to help her get into people's brains, basically. Okay.
Which then led us to crazy business time.
Perfect. That sounds about right. Okay, then we got the care and feeding of your launch. This is all about launch.
Yes. Where we talked about the Pet Rock.
Thank you. Pet Rock.
So if you haven't watched the Pet Rock,
that one was
it actually goes over how to launch a business if you're trying to figure out your crazy concept and then you launch it. And then moving into
Well, so behind the whiteboard, if I remember right, that was when we got into the tech.
That's when you showed everybody how you did it.
Here's how, and then, well, if anybody wants to know, we should do like a bonus outtakes episode of how we did this, because you'll have to see the setup to believe what's going on here in the big whiteboard room.
That was our holiday break then.
Yep.
So New Year's, same me.
And we talked about why resolutions do and typically don't work, which may or may not have flowed into personality assessments. I'm going to guess. Well, that was when I called the death of DISC.
And we got a lot of plays back.
We did, which is good for us.
DYA.
That got into choose your assessment. So first we called the death of the DISC, and then we talked about here's how assessments can be helpful. All right, then second special guest episode, Consuela came on and talked about owning the room. That's right. We can retrofit. So Consuela came and talked about how she helps people own the room by working through their challenges and leveraging their strengths, specifically about talking about the saboteurs and how, again, find the themes. You can see how the saboteurs of your psychology see also assessments, see also transforming your brain. I promise it all goes together. How that all can help you or hurt you. And number one is being aware of it so you can address it. All right, where are we going next?
So then after we talked about that, we talked about why your content sucks.
Why does my content suck?
Well, most people do, here's how this is done, but there's no hook, there's no story, there's nothing tied into it. It doesn't actually lead to anything. It's just information that you think is interesting, but it doesn't necessarily target your avatar.
Wow. So what's the why for today, Brett? Why are we doing this?
We're trying to outline for people how will these things fit together, because business is a journey.
I like that. It almost sounds like you planned that and not like you just came with it off the cuff. All right, then we did leading by definition. Talked about what does it mean to lead. We're up to number 30 by now. That's amazing.
It's a long one.
Yeah. Speaking of, thank you, producer Brian, for putting this into the list for us, setting us up for success on this. So leading by definition, we talked about what makes good leadership, different definitions of leadership, and how those different definitions of leadership can help inform your approach. We also, if I remember right, talked
to
very nice.
That's not my job.
Perfect. Yeah. Speaking of things that are not my job. Then we got into sausage making, AKA the process episode, which ties back to the frameworks, because the process for creating frameworks and that frameworks define processes. So that was like a double meta. Delegation.
So started in at this part of time because beginning of the year, remember, we set resolutions and the importance of them, but then how do you actually get all this done? So as you're following along, think about, okay, talking about delegation, and then what was the next one while you're doing that?
After delegation, skills pay bills.
Doing delegation not by just plugging people into roles, but by skills.
Which then we got into the hiring process. So we got upgrade your team 1 and upgrade your team 2, because upgrading your team takes time, because we talked about all of the ways. Oh, actually, this is our second debate. When you said mass hiring events, and I said anti-mass hiring events. All right. First impressions comes next. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. You can rehash your points of the debate.
I recall winning this
one.
as the crowd was against.
Of course, you recall winning. You have a selective memory.
Because first impressions matter or don't matter depending on who you talk to.
And once we understood the importance of first impressions and all the different places that your first impression shows up, that takes us to your employer brand. Back to hiring events and whether or not mass hiring events are or are not good for your brand. And then we turned 40, and appropriately.
So we turned 40. I don't know about Friends, I am not 40.
Yes.
Nope. Forever, who's the forever teenager?
Bradley James?
I'll take it.
Humanizing of social media. Who's our guest on that one? Guest was?
Laura Kaiser.
Laura Kaiser, thank you. She talked about how being social and being social media are kind of the same thing, which, because we're all just humans at the end of the day. Speaking of humans, nonprofits.
Mm-hmm.
Making your not-for-profit profitable. Because why do we fund the mission, Brad? Does the mission fund the org, or does the org fund the mission?
The org funds the mission.
I agree with you. Which beautifully took us into our next guest. We did pretty good on the guests here.
Just so you guys are all aware, Michael's like writing series from the list because I had to figure out the hack in order to make sure our streak could continue.
Real world case study in nonprofits with Katie Corey, our guest from the United Performing Arts Fund here in Milwaukee. And she talked about how shifting the approach of her organization has helped it to grow.
Exactly.
And she proved our point for us, whether she meant to or not. I'm not saying we did. Yeah, she just.
I think she meant. Let's just say.
All right, then back to speaking. Now this is interesting. It took us 7 episodes to take our own advice because 43 was back to the office. I love it. That's great. Well, what kinds of things did we talk about? Because I remember that we were a little bit ahead of the trend, and we said there's a bunch of things you haven't thought about yet that you need to think about. So because you've just gone through the experience.
Yeah. So if you haven't been back out to networking events, a lot of those are coming around. If you're not having in-person meetings, it would be good to do it, especially if you're in sales or trying to close more business, because people are craving human connection. They're sick of looking at the screen and looking at people like us in the face through an interface. They'd rather see you in person. And so I laid out some strategies for what to do for you to make sure that it's not overwhelming, it doesn't mess with your whole day. And then we talked about, we jumped because now we're back into measuring your mindset.
Yes, and we said you can't just have a mindset. You have to have a measurement behind it to see if it's actually doing any good.
And if you recall, we started with the 80-20. Mindsets are great for marketing, but most people don't actually follow through on the mantra.
Which mantra is that?
Any of them.
That I would say that is accurate. All right.
So how to apply those?
Very nice. Comes next.
And then,
oh, okay. Planning to fail.
Does that say planning to fail, everybody?
I think it says planning to. PLA. Those are by letters. What? You get to be on screen. I get to be writing. Delegation. Where's delegation? Check. Check for delegation. All right.
Another trait concept.
Scheduling your priorities.
In order to make that mindset work.
Right. Because if you just hope that one day you'll find time to do it, you pretty much won't.
Which means that if you haven't put it on your calendar, make sure you check in, because we do have some cool events coming down the pipeline, culminating the next Apex event run by Spirity.
Very nice. Speaking of Spirity, nice job. The app made me do it. We did a demo on the Spirity app, which took us into our next guest episode, planning for growth with our guest, Susie Moon. And there was another guest on here that I got to figure out where it was. Because I know we had Erin, one of our very first guests was Erin, and I don't remember where she was, though. I'm going to go back and figure out when that was. Oh, avatars.
Yeah.
We built avatars.
Yeah, number 2.
There we go. All right, so apparently they couldn't hear, Brian said your audio wasn't great for most of that.
Oh, great.
Awesome. So, but I'm assuming, Brian, it was at least something, not like Brad was silent. Brad's audio was silent. Okay, that's all right. We weren't planning on being so far away from each other. Here's the point. There is one. So you saw that there was a flow, but I think here's the point. I think there's value in us showing that, well, that does look like madness, but it does all fit together. It does all fit together. I don't know if we can make a circle out of it, but I think we can at least make some trees. We can. I think this all fits together because, all right, you see, I got personality assessments. There's the people. There's resolutions. There's an individual. Choose your assessment. There's more assessments. There's me and my skills. This is me and management and delegating. That's not my job. Yep. This isn't my job. All right, so meta stuff. 4 C's, crazy concepts, know your numbers, avatars, 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 goals versus doing. There you go, sales numbers.
That's where you're going with all that.
Yeah, I think so. Planning to fail. That's where's our goals. There you go. Mindsets. I have more mindsets. That's one mindset. Making your not-for-profit. So okay, so there's business models that goes over there. Scheduling your priorities goes with goals. The process. Where's my framework of frameworks? Launching your business. Back to the office. Was running the basis of what again?
Communication.
Communication. All right. Where's our skills? Skills, pay bills, communication, leading, leadership, management, leadership. There you go. Humanizing your social media. There's your marketing. Back to the office, your employer brand, marketing, which takes us into hiring. Where's our hiring? Where's hiring 1 and 2? Yes, they are.
Skills pay bills.
Rounding the bases, skills pay bills, choose your assessment, owning the room. Here's upgrade your team. Behind the whiteboard takes us back to the office. Oh, there's our COVID classroom.
For those of you who don't know what he's doing, or you know what he's doing, give me a hint. I have no clue what he's doing.
First impressions, employer brand, feedback is a gift, measuring your, there we go. Transforming your brain, measuring your mindsets, agile doing, gets us to goals. There's VUCA VUCA. VUCA VUCA. Where's those mindsets? Performance analysis, delegation, planning for growth.
How many of you think Michael likes puzzles?
I think so.
Is there something you're looking for specifically?
Okay, so this is a technique. It's called clustering. So when you do so this is not quite a brainstorm because we actually had all these 50 or 49. But there's an idea called clustering where you pull different ideas together and you find the themes. So there were themes. What's interesting about the themes that we had is they didn't always go in order. But when you pull the themes apart and put them back together, what you find is that the whole darn thing ties around, right? Because we've got, here's back to the office, COVID classroom, behind the whiteboard. That's all dealing with people and how you organize and get your work done, which here's all your frameworks. COVID classroom, back to the behind the whiteboard, back to the office. Here's our sales processes. Here's all of our process work, right? So all of our process work comes over here too. Here's all of our sales and marketing from employer brand, which is related to hiring. So folks, if you and your business have been doing something for a long time and figuring it out as you go, it's worth literally taking a step back and seeing where you've been. And sometimes in seeing where you've been, you'll find new ideas. You'll find that things fit together sometimes in a way that you didn't expect. And when you do this, it's important to use good quality material, like actual Post-its instead of what I was able to find, which was the non-Post-it variety. Let's see, transform your brain, that's growth, which is performance analysis.
We need those super sticky notes for
I know,
outdoors.
This is totally a super sticky kind of day. Upgrade your team. Where was upgrading our team? Employer brand. There we go. I knew they were in here somewhere.
For those of you looking at this, wondering what's going on, just know you're not alone.
Exactly. Because sometimes we don't know either. Sometimes we do. Your employer brand. There we go. There we go. I knew it would all work out. Sales process, browsing process.
I see what you did there.
I kind of forced it at the end, but I think it worked.
If you're struggling to see it, let me help you out here.
It started off as a genuine effort, and then I'm like, ooh, maybe I can do something fun, clever. It's definitely a little pushed. I think it was closer the first effort, and now it's not so much. But hey, look at that, we did it. 50. We did 50 episodes.
Hey, and also for those of you who don't know, 50 episodes is actually a huge deal if you're building a show or any sort of content with continuity. It's really hard, and it wouldn't happen without all of you. We're planning on stopping. Just kidding. This actually is the beginning of what we're taking the whole show into the next phase. So we do have some big things planned for this next year, including some events that we're working on and some other details to help pull you in more, including hopefully doing some live shows with some audiences. Crickets. Did you hear the cricket?
I did hear the cricket, but that's what we typically hear. So. Yeah, so that means we're on the right track because that's what we normally hear. It's crickets. If even Brian isn't reacting, then I might be worried. Is Brian reacting? He's probably calling time on us because he's good at that part.
Yeah, he's just looking at us with
the usual disdain. Okay. So, folks, there was a method. There was. This is me pushing the method back into the madness. So we're full circle again. Madness to method to madness again. We are looking forward to a continued run of this. Why do we do this? Well, first and foremost, because it's fun, right? If it's not fun, you shouldn't be doing it. Second of all, because it is a way for us to explore new ideas for ourselves and for you. So please continue to connect with us. Let us know what you like. Let us know what's working. Give us some ideas. This is a show for you, ultimately. Why are we doing this? It started off because it was fun, and it continues because it's fun. But the purpose, the why, the meaning, the value is because it can help you get a little bit more confidence to explore those ideas and take that risk and not just take what the internet says for granted and put it up on a wall and see if it, oh my, sticks. I didn't even mean that one. Wow. So, folks, thank you for supporting us on our run to 50. We look forward to having you join us on our run to 50 more. Sure.
500 more.
Okay, I like
10x.
10x. That was in here somewhere. So thank you for being here. I think you get the close out because you got the crazy script.
Yeah. I don't know what that script was.
If you enjoyed the show, share it with friends. This was a little bit of an oddball for us, but we wanted to make it a little special. If you enjoyed us being in the same room, you can tell us. Probably won't ever happen again. For however long, another 50 episodes. But if you do have ideas, if you want to share this with friends, please do give us feedback, comment, podcast, screen share, wherever. 5 stars, like 5 stars, 1 star at least shows us that people are listening, which is always good.
Either way.
But until next week, when we share another sketchy idea with you at 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, when we actually start on time next week, we'll see you then.